Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to another video, AM language, pre-intermediate. I'm just going to share the video online and then we can begin. We have 3 people already, so good afternoon to the 3 of you who have already joined us. And share. Hopefully more people will join us. There we go. Okay, so let's begin. This week we will be looking at Unit 12 in pre-intermediate. So this would be starting on page 105. And the topic is to do with being on the phone. So in this unit, what you will be covering is obviously some useful and necessary vocabulary that you would need to know when on a phone call, leaving a message. LVS.com says, hi, Richard. Hello, LVS.com. Thank you for joining again. Hario says, hi, Richard. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Hario. Thank you very much for joining. So we'll be looking at some useful language that you need to know when on the phone. We'll also be expanding our ability to develop conversations, being able to take messages or leave messages for that matter. We'll also have a little look at some grammar using words such as yet, already, still, and just. We'll also look at developing our use of vocabulary with something called a prefix as well. If we don't look at that today, we will look at that in our next lesson as well. Following on from that, we'll also have this week, we'll also look at reporting speech, being able to report what has happened. Here we get to bring in some things that we looked at last week. We'll get to look at the past perfect again. We'll also get to look at the passive again. Arena says hello. Hello, Arena. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining. And this will be in the context of reporting about crimes as well, or accidents, as well as then looking at how we can develop more, develop our range of vocabulary in relation to adverbs as well. So there's quite a lot to cover this week. Like I said, that there's actually, if I just look at I'm just going to look at the times actually of what I said this week, because I know this week I'm doing I'm aiming to do 3 lessons a day. If I look up AM language on Facebook, I know I'll find the times of these lessons. So just to remind everyone, so tomorrow there will be, so later on today Joanna Mantilla says, hello, Richard. Hello, Joanna. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. So just to remind everyone, today at 4 o'clock will be the 3rd lesson, which will be intermediate. And then tomorrow it will be upper intermediate and IELTS at 10 a.m., beginner and elementary at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And there will be another pre-intermediate class tomorrow, and that will be at 4 o'clock as well. In total, there will be 3. You will have 3 pre-intermediate lessons this week. And so by dedicating more time to each level, we should be able to find more time to really look at more aspects of the book as well as developing range of language. So that's that. Let's begin. We're now up to 8, which is a decent size class to begin with. So, phone. important things to know, important words to know when we're talking about mobile phones or just on the phone in general. First of all, battery life. Battery life, of course, is how long the battery is going to last for between having to charge it. Now, for instance, this phone here, this is the Samsung, I think this is Samsung AV. I charge my phone every day. I can, if I'm using it normally, I think I can probably get my phone to last about a day and a half. But I have managed to get this phone to last 4 to 5 days without having to charge it. So it's got a good battery life when I put it into certain settings. For me, when it comes to battery life, it's one of the most annoying things about modern day phones, in particular, what I have found with iPhone. I've always thought iPhone's battery life was never quite as good as some of its competitors. Um, so that's the first. Then we have cost, how much something is. I've always thought when it comes to cost, there's other language that we should know. For instance, value for money. If something's good value for money, if something is good value for money, we're talking about the fact that the cost is equal to the quality of product. So if something is good value for money, it means that the cost and the product, the quality of the product is the same. It matches, it complements. So for me, I mean, this phone here is good value for money because of my contract. I got a free upgrade, so I didn't have to pay for this phone. So this is excellent value for money. I think it's one of the biggest things I find, which is quite difficult though, when I look at certain mobile phones. So if I see an iPhone X, I can't help but think to myself, okay, this is a very good phone, but is this good value for money? Does it, I mean, how much does an iPhone X cost? Maybe 800, 900, maybe 1,000 euros. Is that good value for money? And that's what obviously you have to decide. I don't know. I don't have an iPhone X. You can also have the opposite. It's not good value for money. This obviously happens when you pay more for something than what the quality of the product is. I think this is a particular problem with. I tend to find this is a problem with certain things, such as buying cars. Sometimes mobile phones or other electronic equipment as well. Sometimes it costs a lot, and then you think to yourself, it costs a lot. Is the quality of the product really, equal to how much you're spending? You've then got words like you then have a word coverage. Now it depends on the context. If you're talking about the coverage in terms of the phone, the coverage of a phone, for example, here what I would say is the context here in terms of its own word isn't really specific, but just to give you an idea, coverage is what your phone is capable of covering. For instance, let me think of a really good example. Okay, so coverage, what contract will cover. I think that's the best way of looking at it. When we are talking about mobile phones, coverage does have a wide range of meanings, but what does the phone cover? with your contract? Does it cover, for instance, 1,000 free minutes, phone calls, unlimited text? How much usage of internet, of Wi-Fi? What is your phone plan really? So that's the coverage of your phone, of your contract. I think that's what they're talking about here. Then obviously you have design. I think this is where Apple probably does have the what we would say the edge. The Apple has the edge in design. When we say the edge of something, in this case, the edge is better, effectively. So when we say Apple has the edge in design, we're saying that Apple has a better design than its competitors. So we're saying Apple has a better design than company X, for example. I would say this. I think iPhone often do have the edge when it comes to design. Um, Having said that, I'm very happy with this Samsung. I like the design of the phone. I think if we talk about other electronic devices such as laptops, again, I think when it comes to design, Apple does have the edge, but I know there are some new products out from other companies where I think the design is even better than in the past. We then have games. Obviously, what games can you play on a mobile phone? If we think of games on phones in the past, you might have thought of a game called Snake. These days, you might be looking at something like Pokemon or something like that. Operating system. This simply means, does it operate on Windows? Does it use Windows or does it use Safari on Apple, for example? What's the operating system for the internet search? Is it Firefox? Is it Google? That's what we mean by operating system. Size, okay, how big something is. I have always thought the size of a phone is quite important. I want the screen big enough so I can watch and type, but at the same time, I don't want a phone that is too big for my pocket. If you do like to put your phone in your pocket, you will know that you don't. A bit like your wallet, you don't want something too big in your pockets. It's uncomfortable. And then finally, weight. Modern day phones are very light. This is very light. It's what is good about it being light is when driving, instead of putting it in your pocket, you can put it on the dashboard with a magnet and it will stay there. Plus, when carrying it around, you don't want to carry a very heavy mobile phone. I have never liked heavy mobile phones, and I would say it's the same with a lot of electronic equipment, like a laptop. I prefer a light laptop than a heavy laptop because when you go traveling, you want your bag, your handbag, to be quite light. You don't want to be carrying very heavy things. So I think the weight of a device is always going to be an important one. So that's it for some important basic language. And let me know in the comment section in the live chat what phone you have, and if you think your mobile phone is good value for money. Let me know if you think it has a good battery life, if you like the design, or if you think the size is too big or too small. So from here, we're now going to move on to page 106, and this is where we will be looking at, can I leave a message? This is an important part, obviously, of phone calling, knowing how to leave a message. I will look at one or two things that the book does not cover when it comes to leaving a message. But let's start off. We'll look at some of the words that are in bold here. So just to read through, we've got words in bold. In number 1, we've got text. In number 2, I was put on hold. Number 3, the line was always busy. Number 4, we've got cut off. Number 5, call you back. Number 6, coverage. Okay, now I understand what they're talking about with coverage. What they were talking about with coverage over here is not in terms of what's going to be covered in your contract. Here, they're talking about coverage in terms of your signal strength. So now we have a better context for what coverage is talking about. Coverage is to do with your signal strength. So, for example, the coverage, if you are in Sliema, for example, New York, London, your coverage will be very good. You'll have a strong signal. If you are out in the countryside, you might not have a strong signal, so your coverage will be quite weak. Okay, glad that we have a context to that one. Number 7, sorry, I can't hear you very well. It's a very poor signal. This is actually very similar to coverage, really. Number 8, put me through, and number 9, you've got hung up. Now, the way the tasks works here, the way the task works is you've got sentences from 1 to 9 with these bold words, and what you need to do is take these words and you need to link them to their appropriate sentences, A to I, depending on how it finishes. So if we take a look at 1, my son never answers his mobile when I call him. I always have to text. We can see that if we look through the options A to I, 1 can go with B, send a written message, because a text is a written message. So here we would say number 1, it goes with B. So 1 goes with, oh, that came out like that. 1 goes with B. 1 goes with B. If we look at the next one, when I called, I was put on hold for about 20 minutes with the terrible music playing. If we go through the options, we can see, let's see, okay, here, I was put on a hold. We can see that number 2 goes with E, had to wait. Well done, LBS, Calm, and well done, Hario. Yes, you got there before I did. 2 goes with E. So what I'll do now is I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to try and complete questions 3 to 9 with A to I. I'm not going to give you too much time. I'm going to give you. I'll give you a couple of minutes, and then we'll go through them together. Okay, we'll just go through them together. While you go through, I will. I'll continue talking just to explain what the language is, and as you listen, you can probably get an idea of what the meaning of the word is, and therefore the answer. So the next one here, for instance, the line was busy. If the line was busy, again, it's a bit related. It's a bit like I was put on hold, for example, but with a slight difference. If the line was busy, it means it was really difficult to get through your call, to get through. This would be because lots of people were calling. My example would be the bank. If you ever try calling the bank, the line is always busy. Same if you try to ring an airline, the line is always busy. Then you've got cut off. This would be when you're speaking and the line stops working. The call is ended. Coverage. The coverage isn't very good here. You might have to go outside to make a call with your mobile. This again, as I've said, I believe this has something to do with signal strength. 7, again, poor signal. The strength of your mobile phone isn't strong enough. Put me through. This is when you ring like a hotel or a school and you want to speak to someone in a specific department. So let's say you're calling an airline like EasyJet. You call EasyJet and you want to speak to someone to do with lost luggage, for example. You would then ask for them to put you through to that department. And finally, hung up. This is when someone ends the call. So those are the ideas that we're looking at here. I'll just give you 30 more seconds, and then we'll have a look at what you think the answers might be as well. Okay. So let's have a little look. As we've previously stated, we know that 1 goes with B and 2 goes with E. So now let's have a little look at number 3. Can anyone tell me what number 3 goes with? I tried calling 6 times, but the line was busy. LVScom, you've gone for D. Return your call. I can see why you've gone for that. They are related, but no, it's not the correct answer here. 3 goes with F. 3 goes with F. So I tried calling 6 times, but the line was busy. This goes with F. The person wanted to speak the person I wanted to speak to was on the phone to someone else. So, for instance, you call someone, you can't speak to them because they are talking to someone else. You can say here the actual word for this is person, or the line, as in the telephone line, is engaged, meaning it's busy. Engaged means it's busy, so we can't get through. Let's look at number 4. We couldn't finish our conversation because we got cut off. We couldn't finish our conversation because we got cut off. LVScom says, thanks. Okay, well done, LVScom. Hario says, 4 goes with G. So we couldn't finish our conversation because we got cut off. This goes with G, lost the connection while we're on the phone. Yes, well done, Hario. That is, in fact, the correct answer. 4 does go with G. You're talking to someone, and then all of a sudden the line stops. You can't continue the conversation. The phone call just ends. Maria, hello, Maria. Good afternoon. You have said the connection on my phone isn't very good. No, not quite. Again, very close. I'm not going to lie. That's very, very close, but it's not the correct answer. It's not quite the correct answer. Okay. Okay, right. Let's go on to the next one. Number 5. And hello to you, Maria, as well. Number 5. Matt, can I call you back? I'm having dinner. Can I call you back? I'm having dinner. So number 5. Let's see what you guys come up. Number 5. Hario has gone for D. Number 5, D. Number 5, D. Return your call. That is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. Okay. Now we move on to 6. I have to say they've used coverage again in a slightly different way than what I first understood it to be. I'm going to tell you what the answer is for number 6. Number 6, this goes with H. Here it's talking about the number of places it's possible to make phone calls from. Okay, so in this idea, you've got different locations where you can make a call from. That's what it means by coverage. If I'm going to be totally honest, coverage has so many different meanings in relation to this topic. It's not the first meaning I would think of when using the word coverage, to be honest. But like I said, it's got lots of different ways that we can use this word, and the meaning of the word can change slightly. But in this case, it's talking about the number of locations where a call can be made from. Now, this is, of course, very closely related to the strength of a signal as well, which we now move on to the next one, number 7. Sorry, I can't hear you very well. It's a poor signal. So if we go with number 7, what option do you think number 7 goes with? Would anyone like to tell me what you think the answer is for number 7? Hario has said I. Yes, that's I. I, guys, well done. I is in fact the correct answer, so well done there. We now have number 8. Number 8, it was the wrong number, but she was very helpful and put me through to the right department. Any ideas what number 8 is? Sorry, what letter number 8 goes with? Any ideas? So this is when you're calling and you need to be connected to a different department. LVScom, you have gone for C, and I can tell you that you are right. Well done. 8 goes with C. So we're now up to the last one, so 9. And if we look at 9, we started to argue, and I didn't want to hear any more. So I just hung up. What do you guys think the answer is? So in some ways, we need to look for something where the call is ended. LVScom, you've gone for A, and I can tell you that is indeed the correct answer. So well done there, guys. Very well done. Okay, so, and Hadio, yes, you've got the correct answer as well. The correct answer is 9A. 9A. Okay. So let's develop this now onto the next bit. Here we need to be thinking about a couple of things that will take us through to the rest of the hour. So we've got 2 things that we can look at. One, developing conversation, trying to explain where people are. We can have a little look at using yet, already, still, and just. And finally, putting this all together to try and leave a message, as well as taking a message as well. We can always combine the 2. Okay, let's begin. So when trying to explain where people are, we've got certain key terms that we need to think of. One, if the person is not here, why is the person not here? Now there are 4 main reasons why someone might not be in the office. You've got, first of all, 1, the person is out. If the person is out, it means they're not in the office, and they might be out for whatever reason. They might be out because they're currently in a different meeting. They had to go somewhere. They had to, for whatever reason, they are not in the office. So the person is out. Number two, the person is away on business. This means that the person is not in the location of where the business is. So, for instance, now I work at AM. If I'm away on business, it would mean I am not in Malta, for example. Now, Malta is a very small place. So if I use a different country, let's say I use the United States, my office is in New York, but I've gone to LA, for example. I'm still in the same country, but I'm not in the city where I operate from. Therefore, I'm away on business. So this is when you move. You need to go somewhere because of a particular reason. Therefore, you are away on business. Then we've got it's her day off, or number three. It's the person's day off. Simply means the person is not at work. They are on holiday of some kind. It's not their day to work. And if it might not be the holiday, it might just be out of the 5 days in a week that the person works, it's a particular day where the person doesn't work. When the person doesn't work. And finally, the person is sick. Person is off sick. Simply, it means they are too sick to come into work. So those are the type of those are the type of things we need to know about. So if we look at one, we need to now we're looking at question 6. We are looking at the conversations with these words. So you've got away, from, in, off, out, and up. So here we've got lots of different prepositions. LVS will not and won't. It's the same. What option is better to use? Quite simply, will not and won't. Will not is formal, won't is informal. And that's the way to look at it. Even semi-formal, actually. Most of the time, you would use won't. Will not, there's a lot of emphasis involved. Like I said, will not is if you're writing very formal language, but most of the time, 80% of the time, use won't. Even in semi-formal situations. So 80% of the time, go with won't. So let's look at number 6. We need to complete the conversations with the words. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in question 6. And we need to choose the correct preposition. So let's do 1 or 2 together. So the person calls and says, hello, is that Mary Williams? And the person replies, no, it's Jane. Mary's something. She's just gone to the shops. Is it urgent? So here you could say Mary's out. She's just gone to the shops. Is it urgent? Okay, first of all, so that could be the answer for number 1. B, you would say maybe out. And that would be the answer. Incidentally, guys, urgent is another word for serious. If something is urgent, something is serious. Okay. Number 2, for example, you then have, hello, could I speak to Mr. Haskell? And the guy replies saying, I'm afraid he's something. He won't be back for a few days. Can I take a message? Okay, so it's not just someone going out of the office. This person is not there. They are away. So we could say, I'm afraid he's away. So the answer, well done, LVScom. Yes, that's correct. Two. So two would be, so 2B is away. And that would be the answer. I'm now going to leave you guys an opportunity. I'm going to leave you some time to answer questions 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Have a go at answering questions 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I will then come in and tell you what the correct answer is. Sorry, excuse me. So, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Have a go. I'll give you a couple of minutes, and then we can go through it and see if you guys have got the correct answers, or if there are any answers that are a bit confusing. You might be wondering, can we use the same answer twice? Can we use the same answer twice? If you're thinking that, I can tell you that the answer is... Okay, the answer is no. You should not be able to use the same answer twice. You should not be able to use the same answer twice. Okay, so I'll just give you another minute and see if you can answer the questions correctly. Joanna, you've come in already with your answer to question 3. Could I speak to Paul Phillips? I phoned earlier. Of course, hold the line. I'm afraid there's still no answer. He must be blank his meeting. Okay, and you've gone for in. That sounds like a good answer. We'll see if you are correct. Okay, 20 more seconds, and then we'll start going through them. Okay, let's go through. So the answer to this next one here, like Hario has said, the answer is in fact in. So well done, Hario. Number 3 is in. Could I speak to Paul Phillips? I phoned earlier, and the person says, of course, hold the line. I'm afraid there's still no answer. He must still be in his meeting, and that's an important thing to remember. You are always in a meeting. In a meeting, that doesn't changes. That doesn't change very often. In a meeting is a very normal turn of word collocation, word linking. Number 4. Hi, Fraser. Hi, Fraser. Hi, Fraser. So we're going up with this question. Hario, you've come back. Okay, and LVScom, you've both come back. So LVScom, you're saying number 4 is off, as is Hario. And Hario is also saying that 5 is up and 6 is from. We'll see. So, hi. Fraser? No, it's actually Sylvia. I'm covering for Fraser. He's something sick today. How can I help? You guys have gone for off. And you are correct. Well done. Yes, 4 is off. He is off sick. Number 5. Hi. Is Jane there? Yes, but he's not something yet. Shall I wake him? Okay, so you guys here have gone for, let's see, Hario says up, Maria says up, and Mantila says up for 5 and off for 4. You are correct. Off is for 4, and those of you who have said up for number 5, that is the correct answer. 5 is definitely up. 6, hi, is Greg there, please? No, sorry, he's working something home today. And you guys have gone for from, and you are correct, from. So number 6 is with from. Excellent. So well done, everyone. We managed to do that successfully, 100%. So really well done there. Excellent stuff. Let's move on to the grammar part of the lesson, and then finally putting everything together in a conversation. So when we are using this, we've got certain types of grammar that we can use when talking about, when leaving a message and taking messages. We've got these words yet, already, still, and just. Now, these adverbs are often used with the present perfect or with other present tenses. And here we are talking about the time between when something happened or when we expect something to happen. So, for example, if we look at number A, here it says he's not got up yet. Shall I wake him? If we look at the options below, what we can see is we've got A goes with number 3. It shows that something hasn't happened, but we expect it to happen. We also use it in the question. So he's not got up yet. Shall I wake him? The action has not happened yet, but we expect it to happen. And that's an important one. So to give you some more ideas of how to use yet, case, question and answer. Has he got up yet? No, not yet. Has she done her homework yet? No, not yet. Has she left the house yet? Yes. Okay, so yet. We're using this at the end of our question or answer, if it's negative, to simply say that an action that we think is going to happen has not happened yet. Next one, you've just missed him. He's just walked out of the door. So when we are looking at this one here, we are saying, again, we use this in the, have I looked at the, oh, sorry, I missed B. Sorry, I missed B. I've already spoken to my boss and he's fine with the price. I've already. So we're saying that this action has happened, but we usually say it in the present perfect. I've already spoken to my boss and he's fine with the price. This means the action has already happened, but it is relevant to the present. So, for example, have you let's say, spoken to your boss? And you can say, yes, I've already spoken to her. So have you spoken to your boss? Yes, I've already spoken to her. We're talking about an action that is relevant in the present. We want to know if the action has happened or not. And we're saying that the action has already happened. And we're using this present perfect because the result of the answer is relevant to the present. So we want to say that the action did happen in the past, and you might expect that there's an expectation involved here as well. So to give you another example, to give you more examples here, you could say someone says, have you been shopping? And you can say, yes, I've already been shopping. Have you been to school? Yes, I've already been to school and I am now going to do my homework. So we're just confirming that an action has already happened. Now that's an important part. The action has already happened. Okay, let's look at the next one. Here we have just. Now, if we use just, again, we're using the present perfect, and we're saying that the action has literally just happened. So, for instance, where has he gone? Where has he gone? He's just gone out to get some lunch. What are we saying by just? This means just means the action happened very recently, like in the last few minutes. So again, it's relevant to the present, and the action has just happened before the question, and that's why we use it. So we're saying that this action that you're talking about happened a couple of minutes ago or a few minutes ago. So that's why we use just in this context. Finally, D, again, we're talking about still. We can use the present simple. Could also use the present perfect as well as the negative. And even actually the continuous as well. We can use this in quite a few ways. So here it says, I'm afraid there's still no answer. He must still be in the meeting. Still. The action is still happening in some way, whatever the consequences are. So we would say, where is Kate? We can say, sorry, I'm afraid she is still in a meeting. Meaning the meeting is still happening. The meeting is still going on. So that's an example of a present continuous. Where are you? I'm still in Rome. Present simple. I'm still in Rome, meaning there might have been an expectation not to be in Rome, but you still are in Rome. Have you done your homework? No, I still haven't done it. I still haven't done it. So here we're using still plus the present perfect, and that's an important thing. Still haven't done it, and this is in the negative form. No, I still have to do it. That would be present simple. Yeah, okay. So those are some examples that we can use here. So let's have a look at number 9, and we'll start off by doing number 9 together, and then I will leave it to you guys to see if you guys can complete the conversation, well, the task over here. So number 9, what we have is we need to choose the correct ending to each sentence. So if we look at number 9, number 1, it says, could you tell him I've already spoken to Brittany? And your choice is either A, so he doesn't have to email her now, or B, and we can't do anything until I have. So could you tell him I've already spoken to Brittany, so he doesn't have to email her now? Or could you tell him I've already spoken to Brittany and we can't do anything until I have? Now, if we think about the context, it doesn't make B does not make very much sense. So, Joanna, you are correct. One goes with A. Okay, let's do two together. Let's do two together. Just tell him I'm still waiting for confirmation of the price and it's better than we expected. Or tell him I'm still waiting for a confirmation of the price, but I'll ring as soon as I get it. Okay, so same thing again. We need to think, is it A or is it B? Is it answer A or is it answer B? Um, Tell him I'm still waiting for confirmation of the price. A, and it's better than we expected, or B, but I'll ring him as soon as I get there. So the reason why we're using a present continuous, I'm still waiting, meaning if you are still waiting, you still don't know. And because the person does not know the answer, we can see that we cannot say two goes with A. Two has to go with B. So, Maria, good effort, good to try. If that's the answer to question one, then you are correct. If it's the answer to question two, I'm afraid it's B. So, question number two is going to be B. Um, Tell him I'm still waiting for confirmation of the price, but I'll ring as soon as I get it. Confirmation is when someone tells you the answer that you need to know, and you therefore know that is the answer. So two goes with B. We've got questions 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll give you a few minutes on your own. See if you guys can complete questions 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we'll go through the answers slowly together. Okay. Okay. So just tell him I don't have the money yet, and I'll send it to him right away. Just tell him I don't have the money yet, but I'll definitely have it by Friday. Number 4, we've only just left the house. So A, so could you tell her we're going to be late? Or B, so tell her that we'll be there earlier than expected. We've only just left the house. Number 5, could you tell her we've already sorted out the problem? A, so there's no need for her to come over. Or B, so tell her, so because I was out, but I'm dealing with it now. We've already got one answer. We've got Maria, LVS.com, and Hardy all saying that the answer to question 3 is B. And that is indeed the correct answer. Number 3 is B. So well done there, guys. 3 is B. Okay, so we now just need to do 4, 5, and 6. Number 6, I still haven't received the package. A, so can you ring and find out what's happened to it? Or B, but I'm afraid it doesn't contain the parts I need. We'll see what the correct answer is. So we're now looking at question number 4. Question number 4. Maria, you have said 6 is A. 6 is A. Okay, well, we will discover if you're right, Maria. See if you can also answer questions 4 and 5. See if you can answer questions 4 and 5. But that's a good start, Maria. LVS.com also thinks 6 is A. Hario has said 4 is A. Does anyone else agree with Hario that 4 is A? Anyone else? Okay, I'll give you 30 more seconds. Okay, so we know 3 is B. We know 4. We've only just left the house, so could you tell her we're going to be late? 4 and A go together. So yes, 4 and A are the correct answer. Is 4 and A is the correct answer. 4 and A is the correct answer. Number 5, could you tell her we've already sorted out the problem? A, so there's no need for her to come over, or B, because I was out, but I'm dealing with it now. We're saying 5. Hario is saying 5 goes with A. I can tell you guys that 5 does in fact go with A, so well done there. And finally, 6, I still haven't received the package. A, so can you ring and find out what's happening to it? Or B, but I'm afraid it doesn't contain the parts I need. Yes, Maria, 5 is definitely A. And for those of you who said 6 is A, you are correct. Well done. Excellent. So that brings us to the end of that section in terms of leaving a message. But there's a few things that we can just finish off by looking at as well. How we can go about it. We have, you call someone and you simply, when you're asking for, you would say, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it might be. Can I speak to Mr. or Mrs. XYZ? I'm looking for a Mr. or Mrs. blah 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 blah. So those are your 2 normal introductions. Hello, my name is Richard. I'm calling from AM. Can I speak to Mr. Johnson? Or I'm looking for Mr. Johnson, and then say why you want to talk to them, because I would like to uh, talk to them their about this offer, for example. Always important to state why you are calling. And then from there, you go through this process. Now, if you are on the other end and you're taking the call, then we can examine and look at how you can ask for information. I think there's opportunity to look at this a little bit more. Maybe in one of the lessons to come, where we focus on speaking a little bit, we can develop this in terms of its conversation ability. So guys, thank you very much for today. We've looked at pages 106 and 107. I would like to thank all of you who have participated in the live chat section. A very big thank you. Thank you for doing so, and thank you for participating in today's lesson and giving me your answers. Just to let you know, Irina, you are correct. 5 is A. I can see that we've had a good number of people watching and liking the video. So thank you to all of you for coming today, watching and liking the video. LVS, okay, Maria, thank you, Richard. Thank you, Maria, for joining. LVS Com, thank you very much for your nice comment. Awesome lesson. That's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. I think there's more that we can do with this, and we'll see if we can later on in the week do more with this in terms of more role play. Hario, thank you very much. You too. Have a good afternoon. Now, for those of you who are interested, I will be back at 4 o'clock today with an intermediate class. So I will see some of you later on this afternoon. You too, Hario. See you soon. So thank you very much, guys. Take care. See some of you in an hour and a half. If you have any questions, please leave your questions as well. You're welcome, Joanna. That's very nice of you to say so. You too, Irina. Thank you very much. All the best, and see some of you in a bit. Bye for now.